Hi everybody, well it's Neal and I on HUGO BOSS. Not been the best 36 hours for us. Yesterday about just after 9 o'clock we hit something very hard in the water. When I say very hard, we were doing about 25 knots at the time and we came to a complete standstill. It was a pretty terrifying experience. Neal was just the other side down here, around the corner here, and I was standing right about where I'm standing now in front of the pedestal. And at that kind of speed and coming to a standstill, it's like being in a car crash or hitting a brick wall at 30 miles an hour. I ended up down there on the floor underneath the winch table in quite some pain. Neal ended up squashing the bulkhead. Very, very unpleasant and really quite scary. Both of us were in a bit of shock afterwards. Very quickly afterwards I had a quick look down there in the keel hole. And I said to Neal, there's daylight down there, which was also pretty terrifying, wasn't it?
Not a thing I was expecting to hear, and certainly quite shocking. Yeah, no good. And
well, the obvious thing for that was because if there wasn't a keel at that point, we'd broached, so the boat, when it hit whatever it hit, turned very hard to port, and the boat laid over on its side, and of course with no keel, we capsized. So fortunately the keel was still attached, but it was only attached by the hydraulic rams. So first job really was to get the boat upright again. So we did that, and then the keel was hanging on the hydraulic arms outside the bottom of the boat. So we went straight back to our team and try and figure out what to do, and the best thinking really was to try and stabilize it at that point. So we tried to get some lines up from the bottom of the mast and the various other bits of lines, and trying to get hands down there to try and get stuff around the keel head. Really quite uncomfortable, but by yesterday evening it was very clear that we weren't going to be able to stabilise it, so we got our heads down, got some sleep, and this morning we cut the keel away. So that involved a grinder, some cutting discs, obviously some safety glasses. Neal, you're wearing the safety glasses.
Yeah.
And very uncomfortable, took hours and hours and hours, but finally we got 3/4 of it done, and then all of a sudden while we were having a break there was a little pop and the keel popped out down to the bottom of the ocean. Now the obvious problem now is that we are not very stable, so we lean over to about 30 degrees in the current condition, then and we didn't let the sails out, the boat will capsize. So it's a bit nerve-wracking now. But really we didn't have an option. The keel was just moving around, destroying the boat, and well, we could end up with a lot of water in the boat. We do have quite a lot of water in the boat already, but it's manageable right now. And we've decided the safest option is to sail to the Cape Verde Islands, so we're heading south there. We're going to have some wind. We've only got about 10-11 knots at the moment, but so we'll be slowing down. I'm sure there'll be times on the way there we'll just be under bare poles, try and stop the boat leaning over and going too fast, and hopefully never reaching 30 degrees. Obviously very gutting. You know, we were going well at the time, doing 25 knots, and although we weren't doing brilliantly in the fleet, you know, for us it was a great learning experience. We felt we sailed the boat pretty well. The boat was great. It's an awesome piece of kit, and this is a real setback, but we're not complaining. We're going to get on, get to Cape Verdes, get the boat back in ship shape, get her home, get her fixed, and try and get back out on the water as quickly as we can. That's it for now. There'll be more later.